That shit out of here.
Recording intro. Hey, Chant, y'all ready?
Get it.
Hey.
Hey.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna do it.
You are now rocking with the finest, the most luxurious, the most notorious, the most scrumptious haters you ever seen in your cotton picking life. And as usual, we are back in our individual haters then. We see y'all partying, but we still quarantining. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, what y'all got going on over there, but we ain't got it going on over here. But anyway, shout out to MH Apparel. MH Apparel 1 on Instagram, themotivatedbrand.com. Shout out to Find Love Soon everywhere on every platform. What up, Colt? Who else we got?
Shout out Super by Colt. Shout out Battlefest League. Shout out Potluck Crew, and also shout out Hustle with a Goal, Street T.
Oh yeah. And we got a guest with us, but first we're gonna get into, you know what I'm saying? We got a special guest with us. We gonna get into about.
We gonna get into that.
You know what I'm saying? He here. We got some heavy hitters with us today, but let's get into these hater names. Fred, what's good?
What's good, Fred? This week I'm gonna be false Malcolm X ambassadors.
Good one.
That's a good one.
I guess I'll go next. This week, I think I'll be the Lakers gave way too much for Anthony Davis.
Okay.
That's what niggas were saying to me on the internet. I remember that.
Got you. Palm, what's good?
Yeah, I got the game on and I just seen something. So, you know, it's your boy Palm. And this week, I'm going to be Michael Porter Jr. when niggas is closing out. Because that's Brad.
Facts. That shit. He was
Yo, all he do is make contested jump shots. I like that nigga.
Yeah. It's worse, man. Today I'm gonna be playoff P, man. I came here to sabotage a great team. It's playoff P, man. You already know, man.
Yo, son. Oh man. Yo, listen, we ain't been here in a while. When we get the second take, oh shit.
Oh, we got heat for that nigga.
Real ugly for y'all niggas, man.
Word up. But today we got a guest with us, man. We're gonna let him introduce himself. Let him know who it is. If you got a hater name, let him know what your hater name is. But if not, it's so good. Introduce yourself, bro.
I don't want to fuck it up. I don't know how y'all do that. But this is Chief I of the Black Hammer organization. I'm the chief of the Black Hammer New York chapter, as well as the chief of the Northeast region of the United Snakes for the Black Hammer organization. So happy to be here with y'all.
Oh man, thank you for coming, bro. Thank you for coming, man. So, Chief, who's Chief? Who's Chief? Who is that? Who are you? Let the people know, man. How'd you get to be to this point and to being chief of such a prestigious organization?
Right. So, Chief, that's the title we use for like leadership in an organization. Mm-hmm. We all about, acknowledging our roots, mm-hmm. African, indigenous roots of colonized people around the world. Mm-hmm. About me, I joined the Black Hammer organization in late March, like right before quarantine hit. Someone hit me up like, hey, I think you would be a good, member. And then quarantine hit, and I was like, shit, I ain't got nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. So I joined Black Hammer. I looked into them. They got like this dope anti-colonial, platform. I see them doing like food drives and like coat drives and just getting the word out about, the liberation of all African colonized people. And I was like, okay, I'm about to join. And being stuck inside, I was on the social media team. I was in the New York chapter. I was on the very first members. The New York chapter, we built that shit up from scratch with 4 members and a fucking Google Doc. We had a plan of action. We call them POAs. We got a POA for everything. But we had a POA for building up the New York chapter and doing COVID-19 relief here in the community, because y'all know New York was like the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic for a minute, the global epicenter. And people was just dying. And we was like, yo, nobody got masks. Nobody got immune system boosters. We got to get that out to the community. So we started doing that, doing deliveries and just getting the word out that it's totally free. It's totally free, no charge at all. We getting you ginger, turmeric, garlic, KN95 mask, surgical mask, vitamins, whatever you need. So we was doing that for a while, building up the chapter. Then the protests started, and that shit started jumping off, and we was like in the streets, you know, trying to fight that liberalism, that whole, you know, just going out, being, you know, kumbaya with the white folks and Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Got tired of doing that shit because they didn't really mean it. They didn't really mean it, and Black Lives Matter don't even mean it, right? Because they a fucking corporation that got $2 billion in donations.
Shit.
And where is it? Where that money at? It's not in our communities. ain't shit changed.
Yep.
So as us as an organization, we realized we got to build something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
We need a long-term solution for the economy that's crashing, everybody getting evicted, half the country's unemployed. We got this pandemic killing colonized people. We need a solution. And so that's when we started with Hammer City.
Yeah.
We started organizing that. We was building that up for months. We got teams on water, power, agriculture, architecture, just building it up. And then we started putting up them Hammer City posters all around the country, and that's how you found me.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Yeah, hell yeah. I was like, who the hell? What the?
That post,
This shit is dope.
that's one of the most amazing posters I ever seen in my life.
Word up. I sent it to the group automatically, like, yo, y'all gotta see this shit. Y'all gotta see this shit.
Appreciate it.
So Black Hammer, where did Black Hammer start? Like, what's the background behind Black Hammer?
Black Hammer started February of 2019 in a small trailer in Atlanta, Georgia, with a few people. One of the founding members and our commander-in-chief being Ghazi Kodzo, who already had like this large following online. They've been like huge for the last few years, dragging white folks, kind of having a public political journey. So we've seen the highs and lows of Ghazi Kodzo as he has grown and made mistakes and just realized what we need as colonized people. So Black Hammer started in a trailer park in Atlanta, Georgia. And from there, it grew. Now it's only been around a year and a half, and we have chapters all over the world. We have hundreds and hundreds of members. We've distributed over 100,000 pieces of PPE. Like, this shit is growing, and it's hard for me to remember sometimes. I'm like, wait, a year and a half ago, this shit didn't exist, because I want it to be even bigger. But I'm like, we got to give it time. We got to give it time. We've already done so much in just a year and a half.
Right. How were y'all able to do that? Like, what were your methods to going about that? And if you don't want to say so, that's cool too. That's perfectly fine. But like, you know what I mean? I guess surface level, how are y'all able to go about that?
Nah, that's cool. It ain't a secret. A secret. That's just the power of organization, right? And that's the power of people who are fed the fuck up. People are fed up. We tired of being shitted on. We tired of being at the bottom of the barrel. And originally it started as just a purely African organization just for Black people. But the more our founding members studied, they realized that colonized people all around the world, we got the same enemy. We got the same enemy, and we got similar interests. And if we could put our differences aside, our contradictions aside, we can come together and we could take this motherfucker down. And so we opened it up. We opened it up to all colonized people. So it doesn't matter if you're Black, you're brown, you're indigenous, you're Asian, you're Arab. If you ain't white, you know, you're welcome to join. And that means if you're biracial, you're multiracial too. Because who are we to say you can't reclaim that your indigenous roots? Also, like, being white, Black Hammer, we don't look at it as something like a privilege, right? We view it as an act of violence. Most of us that are like biracial, multiracial, our heritage is like that. Our ancestors are like that because they was raped, you know, they were stolen, right? So being white, we don't view that as a privilege. And so if someone wants to reclaim their Blackness, their indigeneity, you know, whatever, we welcome that. We encourage that. But yeah, the power of organization is so important. We are not anarchists. That meaning we believe in writing out a plan. We believe in having a structure. That's not saying the people shouldn't have the power, but it should be structured so that it's clear how we get the message from the people to the leaders of the organization.
Right.
And so we just grew, and we grew from that, just really having a plan, having a vision for where we want the org to grow.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know earlier we were talking and you brought up the mission. I know that's definitely something that's important. That's when you want to get a clear message across, the mission statement is definitely that. So if you could give the people, what your mission is, then I think that would definitely be helpful for them to understand.
Right. So our mission basically is the liberation of all colonized people. And we want that through the liberation and the reclaiming of our lives, our land, our resources, our labor. We want all of that to be for us, especially when it comes to land and labor. And so we are organizing for the liberation of that. Online, in person, talking to people, radicalizing your family members, your friends. We want that unity, right? Because we recognize by having the unity of the masses, can nothing take us down. And that's how other movements have been successful.
Right.
They got the masses behind it. But if we was trying to act like one of those weirdo white leftist organizations where they just have a book club and they to themselves and they use a bunch of fucking big words and shit like that, like ain't nobody gonna get behind that. And that's why a lot of those organizations, they stay the same size, they don't grow. But yeah, we want the collective liberation of all colonized people from white power, from colonialism, because we recognize colonialism as the root of all the contradictions that we're going through today, like just racism, misogyny, colorism, homophobia, transphobia, all that shit. That comes from colonialism. That comes from colonizers coming on our continent saying, how you doing things is wrong. Y'all savages, and you need to work for us, and you need to build wealth for us.
Right.
And we say, fuck that shit. We want to get to the root of it.
That's real. That's real. That's real. And I see I've been using that and definitely standing on that mission with Hammer City. Something that we came across, like we said, we mentioned the poster earlier, but let's talk about Hammer City. Break that down for them, and so they can understand that as well.
Right, so Hammer City is the biggest project we've worked on yet. Now, I told y'all we only a year and a half old. We already got over 100,000 pieces of PPE around the world, not just the United States, but Puerto Rico, Brazil, Nigeria. We got a poppin' Nigerian chapter, Philippines, and more. But Hammer City is our project to take that step in a huge direction forward for the liberation of our people. So Hammer City isn't the end all be all. Some people they see and they're like, oh, Hammer City, that's how y'all think you're gonna get free. No, it's not how we think we're gonna get free, but it's how we build towards freedom.
Right.
So Hammer City will be a place for all colonized people to come and build our own. A lot of people, they hear, oh, we building a city. Like, how you gonna build a city? Like, what the fuck does that mean? And I'm like, y'all build cities for white people for the last 200 years. And when we say we gonna do it for ourselves, y'all think it's crazy.
Right.
No, we keep these cities afloat. It's all of our labor, all of our knowledge, all of our know-how that keeps these cities afloat. So it's gonna be a city that we've been working with our indigenous members, our indigenous comrades, because we recognize here in the Americas, or as it was called before the colonizers came, it was called Turtle Island. Here in Turtle Island, they was doing just fine. They had stewardship over their land. They was living with nature. They wasn't dying from diseases and shit like that. So that's what we're trying to get back to. So we're building a city that's gonna look like, or it's gonna model how they were back then, how they lived amongst each other, how they grew food, and it wasn't like, oh, you gotta pay rent. Oh, you gotta apply for benefits and food stamps and shit like that in order to have housing and have access to food. We're not doing that in Hammer City. It's gonna be a place where you can live amongst your community, and we're gonna look out for one another. And if any issues pop up, any contradictions pop up, we will handle it as a community. We're not gonna have this outside force. We're not gonna have some cops. We're not gonna have the feds, decide what happens. We're gonna have the community collectively
Right.
decide. And so we're gonna live with the land. We're gonna grow our food. That's why we chose Florida. It's gonna be in Central Florida because it's warm year round. It got really rich, fertile soil, and it's really biodiverse. So you can grow all kinds of shit in Florida. So we've been planning really hard to build this. We have a water team. We have a power team. Like we are for real when we're saying we are building a city, and we've been working 24/7 on this shit for like the last few months.
That's dope. That's dope. Fred, you got a question?
Yeah, so I guess I mean that sounds like an awesome concept. I sat with y'all website for a while today actually after you know Trey sent it over and stuff like that. And so you know what about why even build in America then, right? Like why not build outside of America and focus elsewhere? And you know Florida also has some pretty racist laws, so you know there's a lot of things about staying here and then specifically Florida.
So we're doing it here in United Snakes of America because we collectively have a huge population of colonized people who need access to this, right? It's life or death. So if we was to build it somewhere else, everybody that's here, they wouldn't have access to it. Most of our membership is here in the US. And really just that land question of returning it to the indigenous people here. And now this isn't going to be the last Hammer City. Our next Hammer City, actually, we're planning to build it in Nigeria because we got a huge Nigerian chapter. We want Hammer Cities all over the world. But right now, most of our membership here is in the United Snakes. And so that's why we recognize the need to build right here in our own home turf, have that place for all the colonized people to go. Because we are in the belly of the beast, right? United Snakes, this is they have 800 military bases around the world, right? They terrorize people on a global level. But what a lot of people don't realize here is that the rest of the world is waiting on us to wake the fuck up and step up and take this shit down. And then everyone else is gonna follow suit, right? So we have to be organized. We have to get together and be able to handle it here. Otherwise, if we try to build it somewhere else, the United States is just gonna come. They're gonna drone strike it. They're gonna, tear it down. So we have to build up that solidarity, that organization here first, and then we can replicate it all around the world.
All right. So my question, right? So with that, building it here, we have historically seen, black people try to build their own communities, and white people come in and try to kill it, and people always have these questions of, they're gonna come in and try to kill all of us, right? So in that, in organization, of course, there's self-defense. You know what I mean? So I wanted to ask, what's Black Hammer's stance on self-defense and, of course, violence? You know what I mean, in general.
Black Hammer takes defense and security extremely seriously. We have a whole security and defense office that's dedicated to monitoring, security contradictions, security threats, and that's being carried over to Hammer City. Now, of course, historically, there have been movements that have been, successful until they were taken down by, colonialism in one way or another. But what's often left out of those arguments are those cities, those towns, those movements, they weren't built with, security in mind. I mean, take, for example, Black Wall Street. It was just going to be a town where Black people, the few Black people there, they get together, they built that wealth, they live amongst each other in that wealth. We're not trying to do that. We're not trying to replicate white power systems. We're not trying to accumulate wealth. We're not trying to assimilate. We are trying to build our own micronation, essentially, where no one has to live at the expense of another. So we're doing that with defense in mind from the jump, right? Or even the move bombing, right? They weren't like this.
Talk about it.
Whole militant organization. Mm-hmm. They were like a grassroots organization, providing food to the community and shit like that. Black Hammer, we recognize the need for security from the jump. And we look at history to inform our decisions today. So we take all of that into account, and we learn from those lessons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those who don't understand that reference, the MOVE organization, MOVE bombing, that happened in 1985, I believe, in Philadelphia. It's the MOVE organization. So if you don't know who that is or what that is, you should definitely go look into what happened to the MOVE organization in their altercation with the police. The documentary is definitely on YouTube. So MOVE bombing documentary on YouTube, wherever the case may be. You can definitely go look that up and get that information as well. Man, and then you brought up a couple amazing other points that a lot of people overlook, right? So organization is a all-encompassing thing, right? So you spoke about things like architecture, agriculture, and things of that nature. Go more into that. What are you planning in that sense? I mean, we've seen, I guess, what was the plans in Africa, I guess, to bring irrigation, you know what I'm saying, to unite the water system, to give people clean water. What's your thoughts on that, and how do y'all plan on moving forward with y'all vision for that?
Yeah, so man, there's just so many brilliant people in our organization, right? And a lot of them didn't go to school for this, right? A lot of people, until they joined the campaigns team to build Hammer City, a lot of them haven't, they don't have background in construction or something like that. They just doing the research now, and they learn it now, right? We often feel like we need permission or validation from some colonial education system. So you waste time for 2 years, 4 years, you get your piece of paper, and then you go out in the field. But you don't have to do that. That's not how it's been done historically, right? You ain't got to go in debt to learn how to do something. So that's what we've been doing here. So we got a permaculture team, which is like, instead of agriculture, it's permaculture, a permanent culture of like symbiosis with us and the environment. So what plants can we grow that are edible for us, that are beneficial for us, and also beneficial for the wildlife and the environment there. When I heard that, I was like, whoa, I never even thought of that shit, because we always approach it like, okay, well, what do we want? We want potatoes, we want corn, we want this, we want that. We just grow whatever. And we don't take into account what is good for the environment in that area. So permaculture has been working on what's good for the wildlife, the animals, the plants, the soil, and what's good for us.
Right.
So there's all different kinds of ways that we can build up that synergy. We're working on creating like these toilets that use the methane from your poop, and it turns that into gas. You can use that gas for like stoves and energy and power and shit like that. There's all different kinds of ways that we can exist with the environment without like, being, I guess, what quote unquote primitive.
That is great. Yeah, what he's talking about, I sent y'all a video about this like kind of yesterday.
Yeah.
I was telling y'all about the crows. And there's like a dude made a vending machine like that, like he was just trying to show crows intelligence, but he was really just trying to show like how we can get like animals that people would deem to be like pests and shit like that to work for us and not like exterminate them and shit like that. And that's basically what he's saying, like using the environment to your advantage.
Right.
That shit is an amazing thing if we could get back to that way of living. Like capitalism.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and I think it is, a lot of it too is the education and the conditioning of the average American. You get what I mean? We're not taught to think of these things. We're taught to think this is how things go and we must follow this status quo. Anything outside of that is completely insane. And seems to me what Black Hammer is doing is saying, no, that's not insane. Let's turn this insanity into a reality and something that we can actually execute. You know what I mean? Actionable things, which is very, very important. You know what I mean? And I think it's important for us to have these conversations because, again, the conditioning of, the American and even the Black American, we don't understand how organization looks. So we jump to like Black Lives Matter because it's like, oh, okay, I could do that. I could post a hashtag. But this right here takes an extreme like commitment. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why this conversation is so important. But like you said, it takes brilliant minds and brilliant people. So where are you from?
I'm from right here in New York City.
Nice. Okay.
From right here. I'm not gonna go into details for security reasons.
You don't got to. You don't got to.
No, I'm from here. I moved down south when I was younger, and then I moved back up here.
Got you.
I finished school.
Got you. And what I know you said they approached you for you to like be part of this organization. What were you getting into for them to even say like, oh, this is a guy we want part of this?
Man, I was just on Twitter. I wasn't doing shit. I was on fucking leftist Twitter where they sit around and they read Marx and they read Lenin and Stalin, and they make you feel like you got to read hundreds and hundreds of pages of text in order to do something in the world and organize in the world. And Black Hammer showed me that's bullshit, man. That's bullshit, man.
So not to cut you off, but what do you believe in? What do you feel like your views are? I know you don't have to specifically put it down, but like, what do you feel like your worldview is? Like your view, just like, because I know you said like leftist Twitter, a lot of leftist Twitter, and then there's like libertarian Twitter, and there's you know what I'm saying? Like, so what do you believe in the most?
Yeah, so in Black Hammer, we operate by dialectical materialism. Big fancy words just to mean we look at the world for as it is. We don't look at metaphysical shit. We don't look at blanking on the word, but you know, like when
all that philosophical shit like
that. Not to say we also believe, you know, everybody is equal, no matter your religion or anything like that. But if I look outside and it's raining, I believe that there is a system, there's a process that gets the precipitation up in the sky and it makes it come down, and it's not like, oh, you know, God is crying or some shit like that.
Or it's not like existential dread where it's just like, nigga, none of this matters. One of those.
That shit was hilarious.
God is crying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
How do you feel about existential dread?
Existential dread. I think that is a symptom of colonialism. Right? We have been brutalized for the last 600 years so bad. We've been genocided. We've been raped, pillaged, looted, and polluted for so long. We feel like, what's the fucking point? We wasn't always like that, though. And I think it's really important to keep that in mind, that there is more to life than working a 9 to 5 and just being a cog in this fucking machine. There's more to life than this.
So you said that Black Hammer is not an anarchist organization, but how do you guys feel about anarchy?
So when it comes to anarchy and anarchism, there are some things that we agree in, like, you know, the abolition of like capitalism and imperialism and shit like that. But we disagree when it comes to what we do after we abolish that and how we abolish that. Black Hammer, we believe as dialectical materialists, we also believe in the power of democratic centralism. That's another big term, right? And I'm gonna break that down. Democratic centralism, basically, it could be broken into two things, right? So you've got the centralist part, which is the leading body, the leaders in the organization. Ultimately, like, they make the decision. They carry out the new policies and shit like that. But you also got democracy, which is the masses and their representatives. They decide what needs to be done. So the masses, the people, they say, well, we need a bridge because we can't get to the other side of town. And so they take that to the leaders, and then the leaders centralize a plan on how to get a bridge for the masses, right? So the people tell the organizers, the leaders, what they need to do, and then the leaders do it.
Gotcha.
That's what we believe in.
Got you. And I guess my question would be, right, let's say the intellectuals is listening, right? This would be the pushback. This would be the African pushback, I'll tell you right now, right? All right, so you're taking democratic and centralism, which is a white man's framework, right? And now trying to put it on the black framework. How does that work, right? That's the question they were asked. How would you respond to that?
One, I would say, who said democratic centralism was a white man's framework? you know, white people, they probably came up with the words to put it in English
Mhm.
prison, right?
Mhm.
Our people been practicing socialism, democratic centralism. They've been practicing all this shit for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That's how we built up these civilizations, these amazing civilizations, all these inventions, all this genius. That's how we got that. But no, there is a lot of pushback because oh well, Marx wrote about it, so he must have invented it, or the white leftists they say some of these words, so that must mean it came from them. And nah, man, they ain't do shit. That's another symptom of colonialism, centering white people and making us think that everything came from white people, and that also discredits the brilliance of Africans. They discredits the brilliance of indigenous people.
Right.
You know?
It's like we were practicing these things without these names before. You know what I'm saying? They gave it an English name. You get what I mean? I just had to throw. Listen, I'm Steve Nash right now. I'm throwing my man Ali. So my man got to be Amare. He's slamming him home right now. I'm not gonna hold
Yeah,
you.
the OD, he
Slamming him
OD.
home right now. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not.
Because honestly, a lot of these things were like things that have always happened in the past. Because at the end of the day, like, why would civilization even spark without like somebody convincing a group of people to do some shit? So at the end of the day, like, it might not have been that simple, but it is kind of that simple at the end. So like and again, colonialism isn't a reason why we believe that the terms that we hear are the only terms that exist, and they made it.
Real quick, right? For people that's listening who don't know what colonialism, somebody tackle that in the simplest form. I'm nominating Fred.
Colonialism is a really simple concept. It's when white people from Europe especially went over to Africa and other areas that brown people resided, and brought over not only war and famine, but Christianity as well. Colonialism is...
Don't forget the disease.
Colonialism is a disease.
No,
And
they
the
brought over the
language.
diseases.
Yes, and disease.
Languages.
So basically, when they came over to these places, for instance, West Africa, they brought all these things with them and then colonized the areas, removing and trying to strip everything that was there prior, to then inject, their beliefs and then enslave us, if not physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. And this spread around the world. And it's also the fundamental fuel and root of capitalism globally.
Right.
Belgium was like, I got the Congo.
Next word. Anybody want to tackle
Yeah.
imperialism? I know that word came
Next word.
often, and a lot of the time people hear these words and they hear them in conversation, and we can use it. You get what I'm saying? But we speak in the two crowds.
What was the next word?
Imperialism. Anybody want to break that down? Chief, what's up, Chief? Break that down for him. What
All right. So imperialism is like it's like the modern manifestation of colonialism, right? The United States has 800 military bases around the world. They use those military bases to maintain their grip on all of these different lands, their labor, their resources. Imperialism is just using that militaristic global violence to enact your will on the rest of the world. And America is the
Also,
biggest culprit.
Control of a domain.
The super duper preschool definition of imperialism. If you are from a Caribbean country, you are governed by a European country. Imperialism.
Power and control of a domain.
Right.
Like, it's basically like saying, like, I'm from New York, right? But I have a bunch of niggas with guns in different states, and they will fucking shut shit down if I tell them to. So you
Okay.
have to fucking listen to me.
We can give that a name, right? We can give imperialism on a very local and micro level right now, which would be police.
Police, yeah.
That would be local examples of imperialism, especially in black neighborhoods. They patrol black neighborhoods. What does the army do? They patrol in other countries.
Different countries and
It's
stuff.
the same thing, just global and local. So
Hey, And if we're gonna put it in real hood terms, it's just controlling different turfs. All it is. Like I just control a whole bunch of different turfs. Like you can't say anything about me on this block without some kind of consequences. So,
Yeah, but that's really how crazy imperialism is. Because imperialism is like extending your power even when you're not there.
Right.
So it's like you ain't been on the block in like 12 days, but niggas still can't talk shit about you.
Still can't say nothing.
The street just gonna tell you when you get back. Yo,
you know they was out.
The pothole gonna start talking. Yo, that nigga was talking shit.
I punched that nigga in the face because he said some shit about you, dog.
Real talk.
I got a question.
Real talk, yo. So, election updates. Fred, what's good? What's going on?
Fred said you had a question.
Oh, Fred, what's up? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so my question real quick, and it's actually it's for Chief, but it's also for the whole group, right? So it's an interesting concept because Chief was saying that, you know, white people can't join the organization, so on and so forth. And I'm a pretty anti-white person oftentimes myself, but I also firmly believe in something that I don't think the rest of the haters believe. I think, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, people have to stop centering whiteness. I think that as long as there is black people in any place that is predominantly white, you have to do your best to make sure that white people aren't imposing their will on black people. And some of that starts with like actually just making sure young people know that they can't do certain things, if I'm making sense, right? So like I write a lot of times about race, but I write about race to try to get white people to stop doing certain shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in that, a lot of black people be mad at me, like, oh, don't write for these niggas and send third. But I'm like, yeah, but like our younger brothers and sisters are still in school with them at the end of the day. So like, what is your thoughts on like creating things or having to kind of like intermingle with white people in that way, right? Like at the end of the day, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, they were both white, but I'm like, you know, we have to still play the game a little bit at times. What are your thoughts?
Funny you should say that, because tonight we actually just announced at Black Hammer we're going to be having basically a school for white people to learn about, you know, the anti-colonial movement and how you can play a part. And you will pay a reparation fee to get in. And you will learn, and we're gonna give it to you straight. We're gonna give it to you real. Y'all ain't the center of this shit. And then when you graduate, we're gonna give you a little certificate, because you know white people love certificates. But also, also to that, something that we have to remember as well is we outnumber white people a lot, right? They like 8% of the global population.
Yeah.
So they have the hold on the world, but that's right now, that's a mind game that they're playing. We ain't gotta send them for shit. We ain't gonna ask them for shit.
Yeah.
If they want to be a good white person and partake in this liberation, in this struggle, they're gonna do it. They ain't gotta be asked, they ain't gotta be begged, they ain't gotta be like, well, you know, little Sarah, let me show you why it's bad to be a racist. They know why it's bad, but they benefit from it. And they like this shit. They get a lot from this from this system, right? The good ones, you ain't gotta hold their hand. They're gonna come to you, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna ask you what do they need to do. And yeah, we got a system put in place for them to learn even more. But we still take their reparations in terms of skills, resources, and things like that. If they really want to help, we work with them in that capacity. We just don't let them in the org as members. We don't let them participate in elections and shit like that.
Absolutely.
What are y'all thoughts? Because I mean, I agree with that personally. I think that, you know, a lot of people, like y'all niggas know I have a book coming out, whatever, and a lot of black folks are mad. They're like, why is this nigga writing a book about how white people can be better? And I'm like, if you want to buy a book from my black ass about how you can be better, I don't see the issue. Like, I'm like, that is my reparations for me and my family. If that's what you want to, personally, that's the way I view it, right? Like, I'm not taking anything from black people. I'm actually like, yo, you want to be better? Here's a book. If white people can do it and make money off of it, why can't a black person? But
I feel like they should realize that the whole point of this is like, you're not centralized in this situation. Like, you're just not. Like, you're not. Like, as a white person, like, you're not centralized in Black liberation, because Black people have to liberate themselves. You have to give them the space to liberate themselves. You have to allow them to have the opportunities to liberate themselves. And until you do all of those things, then how can you think as a white person, like, I have a centralized role in making sure Black people are free?
Mhm.
That I just feel like that doesn't really make sense. Like, at that point, it's like, it's a supporting role. And like, white people know how to do supporting roles when it comes to other white people. When it comes to Black people, like, they are the backseat driver. And that shit is the issue, in my opinion. Because it's like, they don't police their own people, they police us. And I just feel like the second they realize that this is not a situation, yes, Fred, I agree with you. Because, like, yes, you're writing a book telling white people how they can be better, right? But I just feel like the only issue is that book is not for them to feel like they're the main point of this.
Yeah. No, but I agree with that. So
You get what I'm
I
saying?
agree with that, right? But it's like, if you write a book, like in my book, for instance, I'm like, yo, y'all got to stop trying to be white saviors and things like that, right? So like, that's the essence of being better. Like, stop trying to be white saviors.
That's a support book. You get what I'm saying? I agree with you.
Right. Like,
I agree with what you're doing. But I feel like people don't really see it as that, because, again, most people, when they read a book that says this is a book for white people to be better to Black people, they centralize themselves in the situation. And they can't do that, but they're gonna do that. Like, as people that like read a book, that's why you're getting the backlash that I feel like you are. Because like, I don't think you're writing a book telling white people like, yo, bro, you're mad and like, you're the most important situation in Black people getting better.
Right.
Because they're not.
Exactly.
Right.
They're just the main supporting role that we need, that they're not gonna give us.
Right.
Right.
I think I grapple with 2 points. I grapple with, one, understanding y'all point, and then understanding the human experience, right? So I do understand that there is a level of attempting to, reach out and educate white people or whatever the case may be, and there is a function for that, right? I also grapple with this, right? Are we trying to tame a wolf, right? There's a reason people don't have wolves in their houses. They have, wolf breeds that are domesticated, but you can't tame a wolf, right? So I grapple with those 2 points. Like, okay, we can teach them and we can attempt to do so, but historically, even when we've done so, we've seen what happened, right? And it's like, I grapple with those 2 points, and it's like, I'm in the middle. It's like, I don't see why not. And I also keep that thought in the back of my head. Like, I'm the guy that's like, okay, cool, but let me kill them if they like try some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying?
I agree with that 100%. And I think that, it's interesting, just like as we're talking to Chief and we're talking about Black Hammer, because that's the interesting thing. The reason I asked you is I saw that on the site already, and I wanted to see like whatever he said, because I agree with it 100%, right? If white people come to you, right, and they're like, yo, we will, let's say you're whomever, and they're like, yo, we'll give you 50 bands to help us out, right? Can you write something about white saviorism? Can you write a whole bunch of essays about how we can stop going to Africa and grabbing little Black kids and fucking thinking that, like, yeah, $50,000 to write that? Let's just say, right? Like, let's argue that was the case. Yeah, I'll fucking write that shit. Tell y'all niggas to stop doing some dumb shit. Absolutely. Right? Like, so for me, I understand the analogy of taming the wolf, but I think that if the wolf is asking you to feed it fucking kiblets and shit like that, and they're paying you to feed it kiblets,
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not saying I disagree.
I'm not saying
I'm
don't
saying
do that.
I'm in the middle. Like, I'm in the middle of both points. I don't disagree, and I don't, and I agree, and I don't disagree. What I'm saying is, I'm the dude that's like the security that's just watching them, like, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pretty much where Trey at, cause like, I mean, I don't care to teach you how to be humane. Like, that's something you know how to do already. You know how to be humane. Just because we come from different cultures and shit like that, and shit might be slightly different, like, that don't mean you don't know how to be a person to another person.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But when you talking bag,
right,
What kind of bag we talking?
What type of bag you talking?
Yeah, now, friend, here's the thing, right? Like, to use Trey's point, right? Niggas don't trust wolves. But now, if I'm
I do.
in a corner and a wolf is in front of me, and I'm just like, wait a minute, wolf. And the wolf is like, all right, I got $50,000 for you. I'm like, wolf, you got 30 seconds to explain about this $50,000 before I shoot you with my hand on my gun. Like, hey, you got 30 seconds. Let me know what's going on. And if the wolf is like, dog, I'm tired of eating black people. I need to know why we doing this. I'm gonna be like, listen, wolf, my hand is still on my gun, but I'm gonna explain this to you. $50,000. Show me the money. He showed me the money. That wolf is civilized. Listen, wolf, give me that money. Kick it over to me. I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna talk to him about the situation. Like you doing. This is what I'm saying. Fred, I don't disagree with what you're saying. All I'm saying is that at the end of the day, if they try to attack you for doing this, they gotta get the fuck out of here because they're not part of like the actual set of what we are. You get what I'm saying?
I'm not stressing it, to be honest with you. It's a lot of
You shouldn't. And a lot of the time, the pushback comes from a lot of people telling you what to do while they do nothing.
Exactly. So
it's like, okay, and a lot of times, don't get me wrong, they can have some good critiques.
exactly. Also,
critiques, but at the same time, I don't come to your job at Target and tell you where the TVs are.
yeah.
I don't literally stand behind you and be like, hey dog, you told that dude it was an aisle 3, but it was an aisle 4, dog. You fucked up. I don't do that. You get what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying? Because of social media and shit, it becomes a whole different realm. Which is why I believe that even what Trey just said, like you should just always remember that, my nigga. Like this is what I'm doing. I'm actually doing this for a good reason, and you are. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of niggas that would see those wolves, be scared of those wolves, and be like, hey, wolf, I'll give you all the information. You don't even got to give me money. Let me just do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just always remember that you're not the nigga that folded. Like, there's a lot of people that fold, and we talk about those guys all the time. So
those reparations, get those reparations for real, but proceed with caution, because when my grandma always says, when people show you who they are, believe them. Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
There we go.
Old people love saying good shit like that.
They love it.
Old people love dropping them good ass quotes on you.
And then they vote.
When they show you who you is, you gotta believe it.
Then they vote.
Right.
Old people say shit like that. Like, when the wolf show you he a wolf, he gonna eat you, baby. And then they be like, I'm gonna go vote for this guy.
And then they hit you with some shit that you don't even understand. They be like, I'm telling you, when the pot hot, you gotta grab it.
They said that they vote. I
And then
can't.
they vote, son. That shit is crazy.
I think that's a good segue.
Colonialism. We talked about it.
That's a segue into what Trey was about to ask.
What is Black Hammer's stance on participating in elections and things of that nature?
Why even bother, right? Why even bother? This system has constantly shown you that it's not going to do anything for you as a colonized working class person. Yeah, don't even bother. And really, right now, your two options are like, what are they? White rapist, pedophile, creepy ass men. Why would you even, you know?
And then the other one's the same.
Yeah, both of them.
Orange man,
Mm-hmm.
right? A senile man
And then Boomhauer.
and a cop.
Let's
get
it.
Oh,
Exactly.
wait, and then like a homophobic guy that might be gay.
Who the hell is
Who's
that?
that?
Pence, Mike Pence.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was even in
Mike
this.
Pence do give me like he be getting pegged vibes.
Homophobic guy that might be gay.
He do give me cuck vibes though. When
He really, but you know, he's one of those Willie Jones type of people. Willie Jones. He
Yeah.
believes Willie Jones.
he definitely be cucking and he be getting black niggas to fuck his wife. He definitely.
I'm about to-
I know he be doing that.
Go ahead, Fred.
I'm gonna have to vote tap for a second because I want to ask a question.
He said,
Vote tap.
let's get it.
I'm gonna,
Greatest thing I've heard. Go ahead.
so I'm gonna vote tap for a second. All right, so I'll be honest. I'm mad because I don't feel like it had in the first. It didn't have to be this way, right? Like it never had to be Biden versus Trump. We had niggas had options, right? Like and niggas didn't do what they were supposed to do. It is what it is now. But that being said, they are the same human being to like a point, though. They're both garbage. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm going to vote specifically because Trump. They can talk about different shit. I'm voting for immigrants. Really, like there's certain things that Donald Trump is gonna repeal that Joe Biden is not. Right, like as a black man and a black man who does okay for himself, I'm not really. Neither of them really make me a fucking difference, and that's keeping it all the way a G on here. But like, I do think, and I want y'all perspective on this. I do think that because Trump has that little sauce on top, that little, little extra right there of like
going on top. He be going on top.
Yeah. You nigga said that shit is fire. Yeah, that little
fucking worst.
That little thing right there, that's a difference. That is a difference, and I want to know what y'all thoughts are on that.
Yo, all right, first, hold on. Let me go first because this shit is funny. Yo, when Trump be going over top though, like, how is this not the most entertaining president we've ever had ever, son?
I don't know.
He was like, wait, hold up. When he was at the most recent one, he was like, yes, open your schools. Open your schools. The virus has affected nobody.
It's affecting nobody. This
is affecting nobody.
Crazy, son.
The faces that he makes while he says it's affecting nobody. Open your schools.
Not here.
Open your schools.
Open your schools. But anyway,
open your schools.
Here's what I'll say about this. Right, I don't.
First verse.
I don't want to affect anyone's vote. Like, I feel like my opinion should never affect anyone's vote. Like, if they want to vote, go vote. Because I know there's people that's like, even this year, they're being allowed to vote even though they're fucking criminals and shit. And I'm like, I'm fucking with that. Go do that if you want to go do that. Or like, if you just became old enough to vote and you want to go vote. Like, but in my opinion, in my very, very humble opinion, as a person that's lived in a lot of low-income communities, and now I don't even live in like a low-income community like that, but there's things that I see happen because I live in a black community, and I'm like, dog, we not even voting for like local elections. Why? Like, what are these two white men gonna do for us in our communities? You get what I'm saying? And that's like just my opinion on that, because I've seen more people in the community do things for the community than any of these motherfuckers that became president. So like, where should my belief really be in? Like, to be 100% honest.
Right.
Like,
facts. But the fucking feds just stole $1 billion of relief money from niggas.
Whoa! Oh, my fault.
Yeah, they know that? Y'all knew that, right?
Yeah, I did.
You think Biden ain't never stole no bread?
No, he had.
These niggas ever stole bread?
I seen a story. Hold up. I seen a story today about a woman who was suing the Department of Corrections in California, I believe, for being sterilized.
Oh yeah, the hysterectomies. I heard about that.
He was sterilized under what attorney general?
Oh, Kamala.
I don't want that lady controlling nothing that has to do with nothing with me.
I'm gonna be honest, y'all vote for whoever y'all want to vote for. All these people, I don't fucking trust them. That's just me though. I'm a single person. If y'all listen to me, put more into your community. That's all. That's all I want to hear. That's all I want to see. Just put more into your actual community, the neighbors, your neighborhood, the people around you. Just put everything into that. Like, if you want to vote, vote. I feel that because Trump is a piece of shit. But guess who else is a piece of shit? The other guy. So do what you want. That's all I believe.
Let me tell y'all. Every 4 years, white power puts on a theatrical show.
Right. It's so
They
beautiful.
put on a show
So beautiful.
to see which sector of white power gets the control, right? Is it the Democrats or the Republicans? Them motherfuckers are aligned. They are united. You know why? Because fucking World War II happened. And before World War II, white power used to be fighting each other all the time. In Europe, they had their fucking kingdoms and shit. They'd be killing each other. And that all that led up to World War II, where they were like, we fighting over Africa. We want to figure out who gets control over which country and shit like that. And they whooped each other's ass. They bombed each other to smithereens, and then America swooped in and they dropped them 2 nukes on Japan, and America was the new world power. Ever since then, white power, they met with NATO, whatever the fuck. They were like, we're never doing that shit again. We are never fighting each other again. We must stay united against them motherfuckers over there. And so in all these other countries, but specifically here in the United States, every 4 years, they put on a show, who's going to be in charge. They go into the communities. They go in the black communities. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're even going to give you a black president. But ain't shit changed. None of this shit changed. It wouldn't have changed if Bernie won. Wouldn't have changed if fucking whoever it was. It would be exactly the same. Obama still deported more people than any other president, right? They want you to buy into this narrative that Trump is a fascist, like the other presidents weren't fascists as well. Trump makes people uncomfortable because he tell it like it is. He is not.
First verse.
Yeah, he's not trying to hide what he's doing.
No, he not scripted. He not on script.
He's not scripted at all. He's not reading it.
You know, not stupid, but he's not stupid. Trump is very smart. Trump is very smart because he knows his audience.
I don't even know if he's smart. One thing I will say is he knows his comedic timing. I feel like he is a funny nigga. I believe Trump is a comedic genius. Like, he's one of those guys. Because, like, a lot of the times when you see Trump in the moment, when somebody feeds him something that he can, like, yo, my favorite, like, Trump just feeding something that somebody said was like, why would you call it the China virus? And then, like, he heard her say that. He waited like five or 10 seconds, and then he goes, because it's from China. And I was just like, yo, this nigga knows jokes. He knows memes. He knows that that's how you won the last time.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a genius, but he is a genius when it comes to jokes.
You know what's amazing? Like, you know how, like, athletes and shit, they gotta have good footwork and shit like that. His posture. Now, first of all, I wanna drop this disclaimer. We are not Trump supporters.
We are not at all. We do not.
We are supporters of good comedy. The man's posturing when he says some of this stuff is fucking comedic gold.
This is what he did.
The fucking look away when he says the virus it's affected nobody, and then he looks. That is fucking classic shit right there. He went to school for this.
Here's the comedic genius about the China part, right? When Shorty said, why would you say that the virus is from China? He like looked at her and then leaned into the mic and said, because it's from China. I was like, nah, this guy knows what he's doing when it comes to
virus. China virus wasn't even as good as Kung Flu to me though. Kung Flu was next level shit. Like, how do you?
But no, that's why,
bro.
That's why he said that. Now that I'm thinking about it, y'all made it better. Because Shorty said, why would you call it the Kung Flu? And then that's when he leaned in and said, because it's from China.
Kung Flu is
he's insane.
Eddie Murphy level comedy right there.
Why would you even say that in real life? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's one of those things.
Y'all know my stance though. I'm not voting for nobody. I know everybody's points. I get it. I don't care. I'm here for the show. I am here to watch the madness that ensues, and I'm going to be working in my community and minding my business. I don't.
So what do y'all do if shit, like, I'm not fighting in any civil wars and nothing like that, whatever. But what happens if this shit gets really violent against black people because Trump loses?
Yo, build Hammer City. That's exactly what we doing.
I mean, like in
We
the
know.
Hammer
We
City's not gonna
know.
be available.
I guess we fighting, nigga. Like we're in a pandemic right now. I feel like
I mean,
life is way crazier than like if fucking Trump loses and the niggas is like, oh, I guess it's Civil War time. I guess it is fucking Civil War time, bro. That's what it is. Honestly, I feel like I'm so tired of everything that's going on right now that if Trump loses and niggas are just like, it's Civil War time, I'm getting weapons, nigga. It's fucking lit. That's what it's, yo.
This is all seriousness. This is 100% serious. I can't show my weapons because they actually kill people easily. I was born for shit like that. Like it's like I feel like when people hear me say it's like it sounds like a joke. I was really born for shit like that. Like probably 7 lives ago, I was a great warrior. This is what I was here for. So if that's what they want to take it to, like there's so much other niggas like me. Mm-hmm. Like we're not at a shortage. We're just waiting for our time to shine. Right. Niggas don't want me to shine.
No.
So niggas better keep it civil, because me shining, that shit that's glistening on me, it ain't gonna be motherfucking shea butter.
Facts, yo. But we going on an hour now, man. Anything else you wanted to get across, man, for the people to know? Where can they follow you and all of that? Like, get into all of that.
Yeah, so we got a website. Blackhammer.org is a really nice, fancy-looking website. We worked really hard on it. We got an Instagram page where we post like daily memes and news reports and shit like that. That's at Blackhammer.org on Instagram. We got the Black Hammer Times, which is also on our website, which is a newspaper we have. We post new articles every day. We got Cash App, Venmo,
Spell it out for
Build
the people.
Hammer
There's
City.
a lot of stupid people in the world. Just spell it out.
Oh, like spell out.
Yeah, Black Hammer on the different like platforms for people so that they know.
Okay, so our Facebook is Black Hammer. Our Instagram is blackhammer.org. We have a Cash App, GoFundMe, and a Venmo. That's Build Hammer City. The New York chapter specifically, we have a Cash App and Venmo, and that's BHNY20. And we use that money to buy masks, buy PPE, buy immune system boosters, and we go out into the community every week and we just give it out for free, and we do deliveries for free. So yeah, you can reach us there, but we have a lot of content we put out daily: newspaper articles, memes, we have shows. We turn out a lot of stuff for people to be politically educated and also just feel motivated to join and serve their community. But yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Shout out to him, man. Thank you for having us, man. It was dope learning about you and your organization as well, man. So make sure y'all follow them, stay updated with them. I definitely want to chop it up about getting involved with your initiatives as well. We do Spread Love NYC over here, so we definitely take it upon ourselves to be heavily invested in our community. So we might definitely meet the cross paths and get involved with something together. Y'all got any final hate? I got nothing. I'm tired, bro. I still got shit to do tonight. So
yeah, I gotta do my editing. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I got some grinding to do.
Yeah, facts.
Tomorrow,
tomorrow we recording too.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, we recording tomorrow too.
Tomorrow, Paul George. Your ass is grass, B.
Getting all the hate.
Your ass is fucking grass, B. Smoke, son.
All right, y'all. We out of here, man. Hey, champ.
All right.
Hey.